Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I have finally managed to get round to seeing Dunkirk, a film I never got a chance to see in the cinema, and I've been playing catch up ever since trying to get a chance to watch it. And I bought a copy of it yesterday for myself and I have now watched it, so finally I can give you my review on this movie. And this movie was directed by Christopher Nolan, of course, and it stars Kenneth Branagh, Cillian Murphy, and it also has Tom Hardy in it and famously Harry Styles from the pop group One Direction. And this film tells the story of the um, Dunkirk landings and how we got our boys back from the shores of France to the UK, over 400,000 or about 400,000 troops who were stranded there, and they were being pinned down essentially by the German army and surrounded, and a call to arms basically on the British shores, and just normal people jumped in the boats, headed on over, with the intention of doing what they could to get the British soldiers back home. And this film tells the story of that. Now, I am, well, it's kind of a cliche really. Who isn't a fan of Christopher Nolan? That's what I want to know. He's never made a bad film, ever. Even his lesser known movies, or his less talked about movies like Insomnia, things like that, are great movies. He's an incredible director, um, stunningly visual, and a great storyteller, and he's just simply put one of the best working directors out there today. Top notch. And he's done it again here. He's delivered here a stunning movie. Has some issues, but that might be down to personal taste more than anything else. But overall, I think again it's another striking picture from Christopher Nolan. The issues I have with this movie essentially is because from almost scene one, the second it starts, it sets the scene and then boom, we're off, and it never ever stops. It's in the moment the whole time. It's just this one thing. It's not like 3/4 of an hour build up to the Dunkirk landings, getting everyone home. That's where a movie starts. That's where the movie ends, and you're on the journey with these characters now. The, the I was about to say the problem with this movie. It's not really a problem. It's a storytelling choice. And the storytelling choice is there's not much character development here because of what this movie is. It's set in the moment. And the reality is, in moments like that, you don't sit around with your mates and talk about what's waiting for you back at home. And you've got a wife who's pregnant, and whoa, what are you doing when you're going to get back home? And all sat around, eating beans out of a tin can or a pan campfire, telling stories and stuff. There's none of that in this movie. It is just reality. That's what this movie is. You feel like every character interaction here is genuine, apart from the lack of language. But it's a PG-13 movie. There is a couple of moments where there's swearing in it. That's the only thing you would say isn't reality. There's the abundance of swearing that would be going on in these scenarios is reeled in a bit. The violence that you see, while very impactful and very realistic, they have chosen not to show a lot of blood, and loss of limb and all this kind of stuff. Again, because they're aiming for a PG-13. For some, that might be a problem. That they might think it's a lack of realism. It actually doesn't disrupt the movie at all. It's still very highly impactful, this movie, and incredibly tense at times, and very emotional. There are moments of levity in this movie that are truly, genuinely emotional and made me very emotional to see. And it pictures it perfectly. When it tells you to feel like that, you do. And it goes to show again how Christopher Nolan is tuned into an audience, really, when he makes a movie like this. It's perfectly tuned into us. When you're supposed to feel real anxiety and tension for these characters, you do. which is quite a miraculous feat, really, when you consider that there's very little characterization gone on in this movie and character development, but you are still very, very worried about them when things are happening. Um, what I would have felt if they'd have actually given more character development, God only knows, I'd have been absolutely petrified for them, I suppose. But he's like some kind of genius orchestrator, Christopher Nolan. He just waves his wand at this movie, and what I think in lesser hands it wouldn't have worked. It would have been criticised for the lack of characterisation, development, and storytelling. This is just like a snippet of the war, and it is this moment in war, and it just focuses on it. And I think again, it's another wonderful Nolan, wonderful film by Christopher Nolan. And if you haven't seen it yet, highly recommend.